Alright. Make 3 of those, and put them into this chamber. Because that will extend crafts. I need this guy working. I need 1 nutrient to start up the process. So I'm going to delay that part of the queue. Put that 1 nutrient in there, grab the spoilage out, begin to do like this. And then I will try and clear as many of those eggs up as I can. Because this is going to make this is going to make more biochambers, right? That's the goal there. Then it's going to be greedy about what it does, so I have to pass this around and be like, your job is what? To make the nutrients. Please do that. For yourself, too. Hopefully this will have a happier ending than the last time. Unfortunately, this entire process is a little bit slow. Hence the need to have a minigun turret. And maybe some walls. Right. So that's going to address that part. And while I'm doing Cafe Gleba, Cafe Gleba looks like this. Doing the whole nutrient pass around thing. Cafe Gleba also needs an emergency power generator, right? Nothing is free in this game. Okay, boom boom. And the way this works is 15 to 12, so there's no way to do a good beacon in this format. Because there would be a 3x3 right here, right? But it would only affect a couple of buildings. And then these are going to make a massive amount of fruit as they work. So that's the... I have concerns about this process moment, where it's like, does that actually work? No. No, excuse me while I push this forward. Alright. Going to have many more biochamber friends. That way I can save power. If I use a better biochamber there. So that's one of the things too, is like, we have concerns about how fast this is going to spoil, and those concerns are going to be allayed one way or another. Jelly. Not jelly. That's going to start up the Bioflux chain here. I have plenty of spoilage to push this process along, so That's why I'm doing it like that. Miles of spoilage and more coming in by the moment. Okay, 5 of those eggs. Good. We're going to get out of here without any gunfire if I have my way. Situation back on Novice is lamentable in that I cannot do mass production yet. But the misfortune I'm experiencing there does not have to be kind of universal thing. Okay, then I need to get the seeds out. 2. So that'll let me make more plants. Then that wants to put into a chest somehow. All of these little challenges. Into the chest you go. Okay. Then we're gonna rock and roll. Okay, all the eggs used up. I have friends now. Make Gleba friends. And then while I'm doing this, I'm gonna end up with more. So how about this then? That's what Ryan produced. Go, bots, go! I don't know if I can reach that far. Grab some more nutrients. Okay. Then pop that in there. Nice and biofluxy. We're gonna make a ton of that eventually, but for right now, it's slow going, right? It's always interesting because I have these grand schemes in my head, and then when I get into reality, there's always that thing was like, well, you know, you'll get punched in the face in reality, right? It's like, and this is still a running tank for 100 millijoules at checkpoint reality. You know, yeah, it's expected that you'll get punched in the face. Alright, and that is pretty much perfect. Some of this stuff is going to get wasted, and that's accepted. Now I have a rocket fuel-driven tank. And that just kind of is what it is. Okay, turn that around. Use filters, spoilage. Whitelist spoilage on that. And then make sure... Uh-oh. Oopsies. Almost without casualties. Oh. Almost. Hey, at least I tried. And then, yeah, can do plastic now. So, I see no reason why I shouldn't do some plastic, actually. Not as a... and yeah, can I... Nope. Because that's something where I can get everything else from the environment, right? But then, what about I don't have a good answer for that. This is going to what? Feed back into itself? And into that chamber. Because I have these advanced circuits, right? And once those are gone, that's it. Everything else, I could be like, yeah, you know, just take a chill, like, long time and make a bunch of units on a unrealistic schedule. But then there's this where, no, we gotta go on that, because it's not simply, oh, you know, I need to make more advanced circuits. It's like, where do I plan on getting my tank ammo? That's a really interesting question anyways, because there's no coal on this surface, right? So that may be the next thing that comes with Ryan is 500 explosives. Because I can get the plastic and I can get the steel here. But everything else is really questionable. Okay. I can make plenty of Yamako now. Hey, how's this going? Because I'm like, oh, I can make artificial sulfur, and it's like, yeah, and that will not matter. That naturally will jam. Okay, do I have any left? I used all my fruit up. Outstanding. And that's my radar picking up that one. So that's a security risk there, where there's going to be some actions out in that swamp, maybe right here. And does this close off? Well, now that's interesting. Gonna have to make small engines. And have engine units coming out of this. And I'm going to have a brick filter. Oh boy. The things you forget. Steel and bricks is going to complete it, though. Okay, so that's... I don't need as much copper, so yeah, I can put a brick filter in... actually up on this part of the line. And then pair that with steel as I usually do once it's there. And that will be my time on Gleba for the day. So, double fist steel, and then boom, 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 boom. And then that assembly line will look very much like the novice one. Grab my gears. Be like, thank you so much for backfilling that order. Truly wonderful. And then this is getting to the era where I have to go and say, can a beacon go burr? If so, how many machines can I affect? Scary, huh? When you think about it, this is really... like, each one of those coals is going to be one of these fuels. So it's one where it's like, boy, power on Gleba is always an interesting time. How do we do this job well? Okay. And then that's a really interesting looking pattern. Which will let me do some storage there. Okay. So, boom. Boom. Somebody's gonna be like, so that's how you want to do this. Yeah, it is. Oh, wow. Because the steam's gonna get built up in that. And be stored, I guess. And that's what those turbines can do in comparison to that solar. Just slam it out. And then up to 3, I'll say. And start my next line. That. Because if I have the time, the space, and the bots to do this sane, then that's what counts. That's one opinion of it. The other opinion is going to be some of this stuff is going to be unneeded in the grand scheme of things. And flip it around. Yeah, flip it around. And then that's going to be a split-off junction here. Where I start doing belts and other things automatically. I have to fetch the bricks off of that line here so that it can do its task. That will be okay. 2. Five, 10, 20. Now is like, why are you saving your steel, Coffee? Why are you saving your red chips? Like, well, you'll figure out why I'm a control freak eventually. That cannot be unlimited projects right now. And it only gets more horrifying the further you go, because yeah, I can start up a belts stockpile like this, but many the normal game of how many can I touch is getting played here. And then the same in workstation is going to go up. Now with more limited resources, right? Tank's empty, boxes are empty, have to go out and get more stuff. Ooh. Steel's been done. Alright. Everything to gain some kind of positive movement has been done. And with the extra steel, I feel more secure about having that be a steel chest. More HP. To prevent things from happening. No reason to burn tank gas. And the radar's helping me out because now I know I have to go down here and visit really quick. But this is one of those scary areas because it's like, this can seriously go for miles. So, and if it looks like speckled frogs, then the pentapods can kind of go over it. There's a map view I can take, which will say whether or not that's likely, but that's borderline abusive for a project that's on YouTube, where you're showing what a normal player will do. So you can hit F4 and enter into the debug sensings and be like, aha, the Factorio man would have ground sensors, wouldn't he? And then there's going to be people who are like, that's a debate. Alright, then... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many more of these? 1, it'll just say 30 and 10. Okay. So I'm going to go for that in here, because losing power is fun. Ooh. Can we do the thing, though? We can, we shall, we should. Now is the time to get this set up, and then put my time elsewhere the rest of my day. Because we have a new product line we can do. It's called the Heat Tower line. And if we do it, what's going to happen is it's going to burn 52 megawatts instead of 40. So we'll need less of those. That justifies sending these into space at all, right? Because you could take the view of like, well, you know, you can send a bunch of stuff, and it's like, this is really rare objects, is the other argument to be made. And there's a final one, which is I should wait for some kind of specialty system so that I can have the perfect heat towers forever. And that doesn't cut it. I need 200 megawatts, and I need them burning 2.5 times as well. I can make everything else to make this line out of normal stuff. Or 5. And have an additional one like that. Then just replace it as things go by. Because yeah, I could have my fueling be that instead. And since it's a higher temperature of steam, too, like, there's a lot of going, well, wait a second, this is going to be the better option overall, why don't I do it? Right now, it's fighting with Gleba terrain. The other thing is, I have to get this up to a certain heat in order for this to work. That's always going to be a fun adventure. And then battle the Gleba terrain. That final one that I can. Then let that heat on its own. Because this will be 48C, and it needs to be at 500C. Right? Then I'm going to cover that Bioflux. And yeah, that's 250, and get this to a point where I can make normal of those. Because that could be my main power grid. And I'll need that energy